Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be taking a look at the nominees for 2024's Game Awards. Now, you probably heard the controversy, I've heard the controversy. We're just going to get straight into it, and we're going to go through it all, and you're going to see my picks, and we'll just talk about the stuff that comes up. Game of the Year, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative technical fields. I think I fully understand why people are not happy when it comes to Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree being here, being a DLC. Here's my take on it. Ultimately, I think if you're going to do DLC for nominations, you've got Best Ongoing Game, so why not stick it in that, because technically it's an update, or you have its own category of like Best DLC of the Year. You know, you can do that. I don't think this should be here. If this, I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of assuming it's going to win Game of the Year simply based on the fact that they've literally changed the rules to include it. There are most likely better DLC out there for games that are expansions and things like that have come out over the years that were never included in this. So I have nothing against Elden Ring, but I don't think its DLC should be in this. I think that this is a slot that has been taken up by something that is undeserving, and it should be in its own right, own category. If you want to put it in like Best Ongoing Games, including DLC, including like updates, just like live services as well, put it there. If you want its own category, have your best DLC in there. As for the whole remakes and remasters being put into this, I'm all for that. I think they are brand new versions of games, as long as there's like an obvious like, hey, this game is 10 years old, here's a brand new game remake based on it, whether that's a one-to-one remake or something like that, as we have with Final Fantasy Rebirth, which is obviously telling the story of Final Fantasy VII, but it is obviously a reimagining of that. But these games here, what would I pick? Well, Astro Bot is probably, out of all these games, the one that would suit me. I like platformers. Balatro, I haven't played it. I heard it's very fun, but it just doesn't appeal to me at all. Black Myth Wukong apparently was quite good, but had some poor performance. Elden Ring I'm going to skip over. Final Fantasy looks pretty cool, looks pretty crazy. And then you also have Metaphor Refantasio, which is the sort of it's style of Persona style game that's going there. But I'm going to have to go with Astro Bot. Even though I haven't played any of these games, Astro Bot would be the one that appeals to me the most. I don't own a PlayStation 5, that's why I've not played it. But we're going to go with that, with Astro Bot. Next category, Best Game Direction, is all the same stuff. So awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Okay, so having not played these games, but having seen gameplay of them, what does Black Myth Wukong do that is creative vision and innovation in game direction? Like, creative vision of like playing that, reliving that myth, fair enough. Innovation in game direction and design? I don't think any of these games are. To be honest, this is like a standard 3D platformer. This is a puzzle, isn't it, like a puzzle sort of poker style game. Black Myth Wukong is a third-person action game. Elden Ring is a third-person action game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a third-person RPG, and so is Metaphor. So I'm sure there's things in these games that would probably include in this. I've always hated this category. It's always just been a bit crap, like Best Game Direction. What does that even mean? So even their explanation of it doesn't really help. I'm just going to go with Astro Bot again, because again, it's the one game on here that I would play. I think Astro Bot would be pretty cool. What have we got here? So this is Best Narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in the game. Final Fantasy, Like a Dragon, Metaphor, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. Best Narrative. I mean, the original Silent Hill 2 tells a really good story. Final Fantasy is a very fantasy crazy story. It's very batshit. Infinite Wealth, I have no idea. Metaphor, I have not really much idea. And then Senua's Saga, like, I imagine this game's really good, but the problem is this game came like a flash in the pan. It's not like the first game that everyone was like, oh my god. This sort of turned up and disappeared, and it's like, I don't know. If I had to pick, and only going this off the little knowledge I have, I'd probably give it to Silent Hill 2. Based on, and I haven't played that, but based on the fact that Silent Hill 2, the original story, assuming this is staying the same, I'm gonna give it that one. Best art direction. Okay. outstanding creative or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Now, there is definitely a game in here that I think is missing, and that would be Mario Luigi Brothership. That game has a awesome art style. Yeah, alright, it's on aging hardware, but I would definitely put it in here. I would probably take out Black Myth Wukong, maybe. Because the thing is, this is a cartoony art style. This is a cartoony art style. This is hand-drawn, I think. And this is kind of like grim, dark, like beauty in desolation look. So I can kind of understand that this is a nice-looking game, but I don't know if I would pop it in there. For the simple reason of that, I'm just going to go with Astrobot again, because it's my kind of style. It's like Mario. Best score and music. Oh boy, I've not listened to any of these soundtracks, and this is again really disappointing. I'm assuming Mario Luigi Brothership was too late to be nominated, but my vote would be Mario Luigi Brothership because that soundtrack is phenomenal. I need to do a video on that on a separate note. I will say I do like. I've watched gameplay of this, and I liked a lot of the soundtrack for this, so I'm probably going to go with Final Fantasy. I couldn't speak to the rest of them. I don't know. Best audio design. They're really pushing Astrobot, which is kind of cool. Astrobot, Call of Duty, Final Fantasy, Senua's Science. So it says recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. Do you know what? Space Marine 2 probably had really good sound design. I've not played it, but it's gonna have to be Silent Hill, right? Like, it's a horror game. Horror games, and the thing I have seen about this game is that the sound design is really good. So Silent Hill can take it. Best performance awarded to an individual for voice acting, voiceover and emotional performance capture. So we got Brianna White for Final Fantasy. I have no idea. She's either going to be the voice of Tifa or Aerith, I assume. Hannah Tell is Life is Strange. I wish it would say who they played. I'm not even going to pronounce your name. Humbly Gonzalez. I assume that's the main character of Star Wars. Luke Roberts is probably the main. I honestly have no idea. Do you know what? I'm going to give it to the voice actress from Senua's Blade. Apparently, very, very good. Innovation in accessibility. Oh, look, I get it. Alright, recognizing software or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features. It's got to be Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. I absolutely love the fact this game had like a high definition color mode. It's got the map things. I have no idea what these have actually added. But Prince of Persia, 100%, when I played that game, it had so many things for color deficiencies, like people like me. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game of a pro-social media. I don't really like this category because these sort of games don't really get necessarily, like, they're not mainstream to the point where they get, you know, 10 mil copies sold. So it's like you have to kind of go out your way a little bit. Obviously, Senua Saga is probably this one, and Life is Strange are probably the ones that probably the highest selling in terms of, or most recognizable in terms of those franchises. Because a lot of, I know all this is like these are all indie. I have no idea what these games are about. This one is like a sequel to the first game. This one is about somebody dealing with, like, I've forgotten which illness it is, but like hearing voices. This stuff, I have no idea. So, I should probably give it to one of these random indies because this one has a nice art style, but I have no idea what it's actually about. I've heard about this. This I've never heard of, and I've heard of this, and I thought this was a Metroidvania. I'm gonna give it to Never, based on nothing other than that. Best ongoing game awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves. So this is basically a live service game. So this is where Elden Ring should be. This is where your DLC should go, right? Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy, whichever one that is, Fortnite's the 14, and Helldivers 2. I mean, I have no horse in this race. I'm tempted to give it to Helldivers 2 though, because at least that company is pretty. It seems like they've managed to keep the game going. None of this stuff. I played a little bit of Fortnite back in the day, but we're going to give it to those guys for Helldivers. Best community support. So recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity update. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, No Man's Sky. Look, I'm gonna be real. I have not had the best interaction with the. I mean, I know this is community supports. This is people reacting to the community. I would say that the Baldur's Gate 3 community can be a little bit toxic. That's from, you know, from the experience I've had. I'm not saying that they aren't. I love Larian. I think they make fantastic games. I would probably lean towards that because I've been, at least even though I haven't been playing Baldur's Gate 3, I have seen a lot of the patching and what they're adding to it. No Man's Sky is significantly better now. I mean, that game definitely launched too early, for sure. And they deserved a lot of the dislikes that they got. Obviously, they've turned the game around. It's got a lot better. Helldivers 2, I have no idea. All I know is they seem to be listening to community feedback on that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 will probably take my vote here because it's the one game I have played on this list. Yeah, inclusive some updates and patches. I feel like there's other games that could be in here, but do you know what? I'm gonna give it to Baldur's Gate 3 because at least I've got mad respect for the studio. Best independent game. Outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Animal Well, Balatro, Loreley's and the Laser Eyes, Never, and UFO 50. I feel like this is actually a good selection this year. Like, this is probably the... Like this being put into the Game of the Year I find odd. But this is probably the high-profile one. But everybody loved Animal Well for what it was. Like, I never played it, but there was such a big fan base around that. A lot of people like this for its gameplay. This was puzzle-heavy. This is made by the guys that did, was it Greece? I think, Grez, something like that. And this game I've heard very little about, but apparently it's 50 really good games in one. What am I most likely to play here? Probably UFO 50, Never, and Animal Well. I'm going to give it to Animal Well because I just remember like seeing a lot of people interacting quite fondly together on that. Best debut indie game. Oh, come on. You can't have best indie game and best debut indie game have the same games in it. Okay. Plucky. To be honest, I'm probably going to give it to Plucky Squire. I know the game. I still haven't played it, and I know that the game didn't quite hit the notes that people wanted. I know Pacific Drive is also a good choice. I don't think Balatro should be in best indie game, and game of the year. Like, you need that. This is the most frustrating thing about the Game Awards is I think they need to really think about having these, like, certain categories. Yes, you can have the best game of the year with the best audio, the best music, all that sort of stuff. But if this is the best indie game, don't put debut indie game in with best indie game. Like, I just think you've got to separate these categories out to give more games a chance of getting some recognition. I'm going to give it to the Plucky Squire. I think Manor Lords was apparently really well received. I don't even know if it's out yet, but Plucky Squire out of all these is the one I would probably play the most, and I really like the art style in it. Best mobile game. Okay, again, Balatro, Jesus Christ. I don't think the Pokemon Overlords deserve my vote. Zenless Zone Zero, I do not give a toss about Hoyoverse. Like, I know a lot of people like their stuff. It's animated all hell, don't care. AFK Journey, heard about that one. I have no idea. Like, if I was going to vote for anything, it would be Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket or Balatro, and I really don't want to give it to Pokemon, so Balatro's getting that one. Best AR VR game. Okay. Asgard Wrath 2, Arizona Sunshine Remake, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, Metro Awakening. Metal Hellsinger is a really cool game. I've not played any of these, but Metal Hellsinger is getting it. Best action game: Black Myth, Call of Duty, Helldivers 2, Stellar, Warhammer 40. It's going to Space Marine 2. I think this game has been... I haven't played it, but from the incredibly good feedback this game got, I'm surprised this is not in Best Game of the Year. I also heard this is really good. But I think Warhammer 42 deserves it. I have my vote. Best action and adventure. Good game. Good game. This is actually quite a good good selection of games for this. I really like this, and I like this even if I found it quite difficult. As much as I like this, I think Prince of Persia deserves it because this game should have done gangbusters and it didn't. Best RPG: Dragon's Dogma 2. How is this not even in Game of the Year as well? That could have been one. Elden Ring, Final Fantasy, Like a Dragon. I haven't played any of them. But it's Mario Luigi Brothership, damn it. Like, quite frankly, that should have been there. There's a lot of games that I think I'll go over in a minute that I think need to appear in this, so we shall see. I've heard good things about all these games. So, and this is the only one I've really seen gameplay of. So Final Fantasy is getting my vote. It's probably not even the best one. Best fighting: Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I guess it is a fighting game. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Marvel vs. Capcom, Multi vs. Tekken 8. Now that is a tough one. I don't like Tekken, but I have seen gameplay of this, and I can understand why people enjoy it. This is a collection which makes me hesitate as to really, because these are old games. You know, these aren't remakes. If they were remakes, I kind of get it. This is meant to be a really good, like, overhaul of that entire game. This is just like casual as hell, and this is just not in a good place right now. So, for the sake of, like, I can see Tekken 8 winning this. So for that reason, we're gonna go Tekken 8, and I think that's probably the one there. Best family: Astro Bot, Princess Peach Showtime, Mario Party Jamboree, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Plucky Squire. This upsets me. Where is Paper Mario? Where is Mario vs Donkey Kong? Where is Mario and Luigi? Like, there's, yeah. Not played this, looks fun. Not played this, looks fun. This is an absolute blast. This is really good, and this I've not played. I'm giving it to Mario Jamboree. I have had such a good time playing that game. Best Sim Strategy: Age of Mythology Retold. Only recently started playing that. Frostpunk 2. This is that weird Capcom game. Manalords, Unicorn Overlord. This probably deserves a lot more love. I love this Best Sim Strategy game. Like, I'm sure there's other stuff that's come out this year. I think this will win it. And I like what I've played of this game. And this is a remake. This is probably why it's in here, isn't it, actually, thinking about it. I'm going to give Unicorn Overlord my vote. I've not played it yet, but the art style and stuff looks awesome. Sports Racing. F1, EA Sports, NBA, Top Spin. Oh, that was a new Top Spin. EA, 2K, 2K. So it's a choice of EA and 2K. Which company do I hate less? They're all full of microtransactions. Do you know what? I'm just going to go for the tennis game because it probably won't win. Best multiplayer: Call of Duty, Helldivers, Mario Tekken, Warhammer. I mean, this is a fan. This is the game, isn't it? This is the out of all these, this is the local player, upset your friends, family kind of game. Like, I think this is the one I'm going to vote for because it's the only one I've played. But you know, I can see any of them work. Best adaptation: recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically video games to another entertainment medium. I forgot they released that. I've not seen this. I bet that's really good. I've not seen this. Not seen this. I have seen this, and I wasn't that interested in this. I would probably, if I'd seen it, if I've seen that in Tomb Raider, I'd probably give it to one of them. But Fallout's the only one I've seen, so that's what it's getting. Most anticipated game: Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Grand Theft Auto. We don't even know if that's coming out next year. Metro Prime Beyond. Metro Prime. We're not even at Metro Prime. We're not even going to come out. What's this? Content Creator of the Year. Do I know any of these people? No! I have no idea who any of you are. I'm going to give it to you because you've got lots of fluffy hair. Don't really care. Best esports game. Still no StarCraft 2. Still constantly shafted by the Game Awards. And I'm going to do what I normally do and just give it to Counter-Strike. You can have it. Best esports athlete. I don't know what any of you guys play. Where's Smash, by the way? Like, no Smash on it at all. You look like a nerd. You can have it. Best esports team. What we got that? League of Legends, Counter-Strike. League of Legends is having my vote. I literally don't care, nor, you know. Player's voice. 3 rounds, 3 chances to vote. Notify me when you opens for each round. Oh, this is new. So I'm assuming that's all the categories here. Yeah. I gotta say, if I'm honest, there is definitely games that I would like. Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, I feel should have been in some of these, both music and sound. Mario vs Donkey Kong could have been in there. Mario and Luigi Brothership should definitely have been in there. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, I'm glad to see some of that. Space Marine 2, Echoes of Wisdom, Silent Hill, Sonic and Shadow Generations is a game that I think should also have been in there, but there we go. I honestly think that the Game Awards is pretty much just a joke. I really don't like a lot of the choices for things. I think the categories need to change. I think Elden Ring being in Game of the Year is this as DLC. Make your own category for it. Because the whole point of Game of the Year, it's brand new games that have come out this year, be that sequels or remasters or remakes, things like that. It's brand new, like here is a brand new SKU of this game. Boom. There we go. Not, here's some add-on content. And that's kind of how I feel about it. So some people will disagree, but you know, that I just don't. I think this shouldn't be here. Space Marine 2 should basically be there. And I'm not even sure Balatro should be there either, but hey, I'd rather this small little indie game win than some DLC and whatnot. And that could have been any game. I just want to make that clear. It doesn't matter that it's Elden Ring specifically. The fact that it's there says to me that that's going to win, and it shows how many people in the industry only really look at the certain stuff. And yeah, there's just other games out there that could have been there instead. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. As always, if you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.